You want to make your 3D printing click. And by that, I mean you want to make your 3D prints snap together. Well, you came to the right place because today we are going over how to make snap connectors and dovetail connectors in a simple little program known as TinkerCAD. So, with that being said, my name is Cole Hansen, this is PrintNRepeat, and you're watching the series TinkerCAD. Let's get into it. Alrighty guys, so we have made it back into our computer, and if you've seen me before, you know the drill. We need to go ahead and open up a web browser, and I also want to go ahead and say thank you for 2,000 subscribers. You guys are awesome. If you're not subscribed to me, please go ahead, click subscribe, click that bell icon so you don't miss out on any more awesome content. But with that being said, we need to hop into our TinkerCAD dashboard. As I said before, we're going over connectors, so I'm going to open and tinker this right here, and you should open your very own 3D design so you can follow along. Now, like I said in the intro, we're going over connectors. We're going over two specific connectors. One that is a dovetail, very simple, very easy to make, very versatile. And then we're also going over snap fit connectors, just like this. These are also extremely useful, very versatile, but they have their drawbacks because they actually have moving parts that are not quite as durable. So, with that being said, we're going to go ahead and take these and move these guys over here. And we're going to move these guys right over here so we can go into the center of our work plane, up and ready. Now what we're going to do is drag our box onto the work plane because that's really all we're going to be using today. And we're going to go ahead and make our width and our height 40. So I'm going to click 40, and then I'm going to click tab, and then 40 again. Now I'm just going to make the height of this box 8 millimeters. Boom. That's really all I'm going to need for all of these because they're all going to be the exact same size. So I'm going to click on this, click Control D on my keyboard, and then the left arrow and drag them over to the left. So now I have my main and my duplicate. I can now go ahead and pull out my draw tool, bring it right in front of my main box, and I don't really need it to be in the center, but what I do need is kind of to see my dimensions and how things work out. So I'm going to click right here in front of the box, and I'm going to make a 12 millimeter line. Now I'm going to go up 12 millimeters right here. And I'm going to go over 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Perfect. Now all I'm going to do is go back and cut my 12 in half with the 4 millimeters. So I need to cut it in half. 6 plus 4 is 10. So I'm going to go up 4 millimeters. 1, 2, 3, 4. Boom. Go over 10 again. And then down 4. 4. Perfect. And then just put everything back together. Now I'm going to click over here on my little edit and modify shape tool. And I'm going to click on this main point and just round it. I'm going to do the same thing here, round them off, and I'm going to do the same thing here, round them off. Now, all I want to do on these two is bring these to where they're straight and then down to only about 2 blocks away. Same here. I'm going to take my angle modifier, bring it down to 2, and basically, I'm golden. So from here, I can just click Finish Sketch. And as you'll see, this is a little bit taller than what I want it. So I'm going to make it only 8 millimeters tall. Oh, sorry, I'm silly. 4 millimeters tall. Now, I have this main block right here. I have my main dovetail connector. I'm going to click Control D, and I'm going to drag it down a little bit so it's out of my way. And I'm going to make this orange for my original. I want to use this as my original dovetail. This one is going to be my cutaway tool. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to basically make it 19.99. We're going to go 20.19. Beautiful. And the width, or that was the width, and now we're going to make the height, which is 15.99. We're going to make 16.19. Perfect. And then we're going to make the height 4.15. Awesome. From there, we now have all the size dimensions we need. And what we can do is click M on our keyboard, mirror him the other direction, line him up center with this box, L, align center. And then if I make this a hole, or actually, let me go ahead and do this. Line it right there. And if I make this transparent, or T for transparent, you can see all those lines up together. So it's dead center in the middle of this box. So now I'm just going to take the T away, make it solid again. Make sure my dovetail right here is a hole. And then I'm just gonna go Control G on my keyboard. Now I have the perfect cutout. I'm gonna do this, take my original back right here. I'm gonna click L on my keyboard, align center. I'm going to turn this main box into a hole so I can see if they're touching. And then now all I'm gonna do is basically just take my snap grid, bring it and turn it off, and then just take my main dovetail connector, bring it over until it is just barely touching pixel by pixel. So I moved it only over 2 pixels. Now I can turn this back to a solid. I can group these together. Then I can highlight both of these bad boys and I can make them a different color. So that way we get them a little bit different from here. And now you can see, that is the simplest way to make a perfect dovetail connector. It just can't get any easier than that. So the next thing we're gonna work on is now our snap fits. Now these are where things get a little difficult. So we're gonna make our boxes and we're gonna bring one box out in the center of our work plane right here. We're gonna do the same thing we did previously. We're gonna go 40, tab, 40. That's 49, boom. Make our height 8 millimeters. There we go. And then from here, we're gonna do the same thing. Control D, duplicate, run them over. Now, we're gonna make our draw tool useful again. We're going to actually, I will put this bad boy, I'm gonna click escape. I'm gonna bring these guys up a little bit so that way we don't have to worry about the draw tool right there. Slide him over, perfect. Align these, click L, align center, bring our draw tool back, drop them right in front of our main box. And then now we're gonna do the same thing, but I'm gonna make this 16 millimeters wide. So we're gonna go right here, we're gonna click over, 16 millimeters. We're gonna go up 16 millimeters, and then we're gonna subtract that by 4. So we're gonna go down to 12. I'm gonna click here, I'm gonna go up 2, over 2, up 2, or over 2, up 2, boom. Oh no, made me click on that. There we go, over 2, perfect. Now I'm gonna go over 2 more, 1, 2. I'm gonna drop him all the way down to where I have about, let's see, we got 16 millimeters, we want 12 millimeters, there we go. We're gonna go over, what's 16 minus 4? 12, so I'm gonna go over 6 millimeters, there we go. And I'm gonna drop him down too. That math was killing me. I'm gonna go over 6 millimeters and then bring him up 2, perfect. And then we're gonna do the exact same thing. We're gonna bring him all the way up to where he's in line here at 12 millimeters. We're gonna bring him over at 2, perfect. And then all we're gonna do is go over 2, down 2, over 2, down 2, and then connect them all the way together. Perfect. So now we have a perfect little snap fit connector. I can click finish sketch, and this is what she's gonna look like. But what we wanna do is, the reason I made this little angle right here is if I click back on edit sketch, and I go back to my edit tool, I wanna make this rounded. So I'm gonna round this bad boy off, I'm gonna round this bad boy off, and I'm gonna round this bad boy off. What I can do now is make this a little sharper and straight up and down. We're gonna make him only 1 millimeter there. Straighten him out, make him only 1 millimeter there. And now we have a smooth little arc that's going to absorb a little bit more force than if it was just a straight little cut. So now we can finish our sketch again. That looks a lot better. If you want to, you can also do it one more time with the same exact steps, and we can even do it right here on our cutaways. So if I go here and go to my fins, and I make that rounded, and I go to my other fin and make that rounded. Oh no, he won't round. Oh well. So we'll just do that. We'll just leave them sharp. You can do that again by also making just rounded if it'll let you. So from here, what we're gonna do is we're going to add a box right in front of this. We're gonna drop this down to 8 millimeters. So that we have our height, 4 millimeters. So we have it cut in half. Then what we're gonna do is we're gonna click Control D and run a duplicate over here because we're gonna need him for later. Now we're gonna take our box and we're going to make it 16 millimeters wide by 16 millimeters tall. by 4 millimeters. Then we're gonna align these bad boys up. L for align, align, align. Now we have this entirely filled out. And what we can do is group everything together. Control G. Now we need to make this just slightly bigger. So for our width, we are going to go 20.1, 20.09. We'll go 1.2. We'll go 20.12 wide, and then we'll go 16.15 long. Boom. And then for our height, we will go 4.15. Beautiful. Now all we need to do here is mirror this bad boy. Bring him over. Align him center. Center and center right there. And if I turn this bad boy transparent, you can see him inside. So we'll align him one more time and align him right to the edge. And then now we can turn our little cutaway, if I can click on him right there, into a hole. And then we're gonna highlight him one more time. Click L on our keyboard and align them in the very center. So now he's all the way in the middle of this entire box. We're gonna group everything together, Control G, make him solid again. And then we're gonna do the same thing with our main snap clip. So align, center, center, center. We're gonna turn you transparent so we can see everything. And then what we're gonna do is take our box, highlight everything, click L on our keyboard, align him to the very edge. Notice he's gonna align here, no big deal. We can take our box and we can just run it all the way over 16 millimeters until they are on the edge. Now, what you wanna do is you probably wanna turn this into a hole real quick and then turn your snap grid off just because we changed the dimensions a little bit, and make sure they're touching. Right when you see that gray line, everything's touching, beautiful. So we're only touching by 1 pixel. Now we can turn this back to a solid. We can take it off transparency, and then we can group everything together. Control G. And from here, you guys have a working snap clip. If you want to go ahead and print it off, please do so. I will say this, when you are printing off snap clips like this, and this is an overhang right here, or you can see this little overhang is not going to be good for printing. So when you go to print these clips off, you want to make sure they are in a vertical orientation, just like so. They're going to print smoothly, they're going to print cleanly, and it'll be very easy to maintain them. For your dovetails, super easy to print. All you got to do, flip this bad boy over, just like so, and then this guy can stay flat. It's very easy to print, very simple. Now, let's go ahead and show you what the finished product looks like. Alrighty guys, so our prints are done. Let's go ahead and take a look at how these two clips came out. So with this one, the dovetail, super simple, super easy, very robust, and very versatile to use. With this one, all you gotta do is make sure that the tolerances are right. We should have made them correct, and they slide in together, and they fit very snugly, almost with a bit of a clip together. They're not coming off. They're very, very strong. These are very sturdy, and if you decide you want to make them permanent, you have a lot of surface area here to connect them. You can just super glue this little dovetail connector right here, and it makes it incredibly strong. Now, also makes it easy to unclip and clip together if you're making tracks or things that need to connect sometimes and also be able to be taken off. Moving on, we have our snap clip. This is a very versatile tool, and it can be very easily made, but there's only one problem, and that is these clips move just a little bit. And that little bit of flexion right here, as you can see, does put wear and tear on these clips. So these are often used for things that can be taken off and on, but they do have a finite lifespan. So when you push them together and everything clicks, boom, they're solid, they're very strong, and there's actually about a pound, maybe even 2 of force before they even get pulled apart. So they're very strong and very useful for certain prints that need to be removable, clipped together, and oftentimes replaced or interchanged. And they often add a little bit of extra lateral stability and linear stability here. If you guys have any questions, please put them down in the comments below. If you guys are looking for these STL files, I will also have them linked in my Maker World account below as well. I really appreciate you guys. If you liked the video, please hit that subscribe button, click the bell icon so you don't miss out on any more content, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.